Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Carpool Crowd Podcast. I'm Evan in the back seat.
I'm Steven in the passenger seat.
Bronson, driver.
And we are in a...
My car.
Ford Focus.
2012 edition.
And today we are...
Going the long way.
Going the long way, I guess. We just finished watching Midway.
Holy crap!
Great movie.
I still have the jitters from watching it.
It's a World
on edge.
It's a World War II movie.
About the Battle of Midway.
About the Battle of Midway, which makes sense for the title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a naval battle that the Americans won against the odds.
Stop calling me.
It's a battle that the Americans won against the odds. The Japanese had more fighters, more carriers.
Oh yeah.
More everything. And
they had better weapons.
Better everything. The Japanese would have won this war if the Americans didn't do their best.
Mm-hmm.
And they did some impressive stuff. They had the right people at the right time. Let's see.
And the thing about
Dick
that movie...
Best.
Oh yeah, the main character.
It was very inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, technically there were a number of main
few.
characters. I don't think he was the main character.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a main character. There never...
It was just the main people.
In documentaries, I don't think there really is. Oh, well, that wasn't a documentary. That was
like an action.
It was a reenactment.
Yeah.
There never really is a main character in those kinds of things, unless you're following one specific character. For example, in Enigma, we follow... I can't remember his name. We follow the gay guy.
Yeah,
throughout the movie. He's definitely the main character that we follow throughout the movie.
He marries a woman just to get her to stay, then tries to divorce her because he's gay, and then she slaps him and says, "No, we're doing this."
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to Midway. I actually think that movie is kind of inspiring in the sense that they missed several times.
Oh yeah,
they missed like
so
six.
Many
They missed like 5 or 6 times, and they just kept going at it. There was one guy who sunk. I think he hit 2 carriers in one day.
Dick Best.
I think there were only like 2 other people who hit that many. Or no, one of them. He was one of 2 people that hit that many.
2 aircraft carriers in one day.
Yeah.
I wonder who the other person is.
I know, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a more modern person.
It's probably World War II as well.
Where's your seat warmer?
What? It's down here.
Seat
somewhere.
warmer. You have a seat warmer?
Up
I have it
here.
on 4.
You have a seat warmer? You didn't ever told me that.
Yeah, I have a seat warmer. Let's see.
I'm completely inept when it comes to wars in general, like any history.
I don't think we ever got to the War of Midway, Evan. The Midway War.
I don't think we ever talked about it.
That was Waters.
I think we went through World War II.
We started World War II when
we don't really talk about the Japanese side nearly as much as the European
and American. The European side.
Yeah, the European part is way more talked about
because of Hitler.
Yeah, because
we had one man to pin it all down on. The Japanese, there really wasn't one man to pin it all down on, because they all said that they were serving the emperor, but there was like a whole bunch of other guys that actually had control.
Yeah, like Prime Minister Tojo is he's way more obscure than Hitler or Mussolini.
Mussolini didn't
Stalin.
do very much.
I know, he was kind of like, He didn't really do anything at all.
They'll be fighting our tanks with literal bows and arrows.
Roosevelt.
So he took it.
The only thing
even more obscure than Roosevelt, really.
What?
Even more obscure than Roosevelt, really.
Roosevelt's pretty obscure.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know Prime Minister Tojo existed until high school.
Because in America, we don't really blame him for much.
We don't.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire war is blamed on Hitler. The thing about the Japanese, they weren't fighting for they weren't fighting for the same reasons Hitler was. They weren't fighting for revenge.
They were fighting for
honor and for conquest.
Hitler didn't tell them to do it either.
Yeah,
they just did it because they wanted to.
They thought, oh, these people will allow us to continue our conquest, we'll join them.
Yeah.
So they went through, they may have done some very, very terrible things along the way,
but they thought what they were doing was right.
No, not the, don't even know if I'm allowed to say
Technically,
this.
everyone thought that what they're doing is right in war.
In general.
Everyone thinks what they're doing is right in war.
I mean, Tojo was a bad person, like really, really bad person.
Hitler
was also really bad. I think
Actually,
Tojo was just as bad, though.
Hitler started out thinking he would save Germany.
I mean, he did in the beginning.
He did. He brought them out. That's how.
Yeah, he brought them out of
the
depression.
Volkswagen, and
the Jews were
he did save Germany and then ruined it again.
Yeah, pretty much. By going, I think one of I think it's the Axis powers.
The Axis powers.
Yeah, like Germany, Italy, and Japan. Yeah, their biggest mistake was attacking America.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that line in Midway? It said, "We have awakened a sleeping giant."
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a big mistake on their part.
Oh yeah, that was a horrible idea.
I bet Germany was like pissed.
Yeah, they should have gone for the oil tanks. That would have been a better idea.
No. If you remember in Midway, they went there and then said, "You didn't go for the oil tanks. You pulled back instead." They could have gone for the oil tanks. They could have. They didn't.
Yeah.
If they went for the oil tanks, we would have been screwed.
Oh yeah.
Because we wouldn't have been able to get our Navy up for a while after that. With what we had, we were able to pull through and still set up the Navy. Get the Navy back up and running.
I think there was a guy in Europe, I think it was Britain or England or something like that, who said that in future wars that we shouldn't just stand by. Because America at the time was neutral, and a lot of Europe just watched Germany take over. I can't remember who they took over first.
It was Poland.
Yeah.
It was Poland? Okay.
No, it was Czechoslovakia. It started out...
and then Poland, right?
It was Czechoslovakia. They went in, they took Poland. No, that's the start of the... No.
Yeah,
I can't remember if they went...
Because it was definitely Germany that started the war.
Or if they went with Poland and got Poland with Russia first.
I think it was Poland first. Because Poland and Russia... Germany and Russia.
Germany and Russia took over Poland very, very quickly. Apparently, no one saw that coming.
Oh yeah, and then Russia got out of the war.
Russia, basically what Russia did was Russia sided with Germany because it benefited them. They took over like little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Like Poland. And so then they just decided, you know what, we're gonna just kind of sit out. And then Hitler attacked Russia, and that's when Russia joined us.
I hate high beams.
High beams are annoying.
I know.
Anyways.
Yeah. Like, because Germany was really dumb and decided to go, hey, we're going to attack Russia in the middle of winter.
No. They attacked them in the middle of
Russia
fall.
was very, very...
But it
close.
Was
It was late in the fall. Yeah.
That's
what I mean. It was basically
Russia
winter.
didn't do well even then, though. I'm pretty sure Russia didn't.
No, what happened was they got to Stalingrad, and then they fought hard at Stalingrad.
Yeah.
And that's when the Germans oil in the tanks started to freeze.
Yeah.
And that's when the Germans started to lose.
Also, it was because the Russians were burning everything before the Germans got to it.
Yeah.
So they had like no resources.
I apologize for my historical ineptitude.
Yeah. You are terrible with war stuff.
Anyway,
I'm really, really bad.
We haven't actually gotten to what we think about the movie.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It was amazing.
It looked really good.
Yeah, like the animation wasn't it wasn't top notch, but plot-wise, it was crazy. I loved it.
I prefer that. Personally, I think that movie is better than Enigma.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's less confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, Enigma wasn't too confusing, but it's less confusing than Enigma.
Yeah.
It's more straightforward as to what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, also, Enigma was like a completely different movie because there was almost no fighting whatsoever.
No, but
It
I mean,
was
like,
about the guy cracking the...
Code.
Yeah, that's basically the whole thing. There wasn't really any fighting or anything. It was like a completely
no,
different
I'm
movie.
not saying they're like it's like worse than it. I'm just saying I personally prefer Midway over Enigma.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both pretty much just as good as each
Yeah.
other, but I personally prefer Midway.
Yeah. So do I.
But then again, I have seen Enigma like 3 times.
I've only seen Enigma once.
And yet you couldn't remember the name.
I went with the Enigma code.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would have been just as good of a name.
Yeah.
I mean,
Except
but
I think
that's
Enigma's
redundant.
better.
That's
Enigma's
redundant.
better.
Enigma code is redundant, though.
Because Enigma's easier to remember, too.
Yeah, Enigma is like a code already.
Yeah.
You're just adding code.
But yeah.
You're just saying code.
And
Okay.
That's what it is. Enigma is like a weird thing. It's redundant.
Yeah, that's kind of redundant. In Midway, I loved how they made you feel sympathetic towards the Japanese in some parts.
By the way,
it didn't feel
wait.
like the Japanese
By the
were
way,
just
if
the
you
bad
hear a
guys.
whistling,
Yeah.
if you hear a whistling and we don't know what that is, it's really obnoxious.
Bronson's car just has some kind of defect.
We have yet to figure
That
out what it
started
is.
today.
It's really obnoxious.
Yeah. Anyways, they make
Yeah.
you feel for the Japanese. In fact, in the
Yeah.
end credits,
They-
they pull up. I think it was one
at
or
the
two
very
Japanese
end,
men.
They dedicate the whole movie to the Americans and the Japanese,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool.
They did really good at making you feel for both sides. Really good
Yeah.
at making you feel for even the Japanese characters.
But I will always root for whoever stops the war.
Yeah,
I will always root for it. If America starts a war, fuck you, America.
yeah. In wars, no one's really the winner.
But, I mean, if there is, I guess...
I mean, there's always those peaceful things where they end wars and stuff.
If
like
America,
battles in a peaceful
not necessarily
way.
a war, but if there's a tension or something like that, then if whoever's stopping it, I will root for them.
Yeah.
And America is usually that country. America is usually
Nope,
the
I
country to
can't
do that.
buy your car. Darn it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in
That's
World
incorrect,
War
yeah.
II is a very good example. I think recently with Trump is also a very good example when there was Korea. I can't remember which Korea.
North.
Where he
Because
went
North
to
is
when he went to
the
visit
nuclear.
Kim Jong Un,
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
and then he there was like the handshake with the other guy from South Korea.
Yeah.
Again, I'm really politically inept.
Like
Historically
I thought it was-
and politically inept.
I thought it was also cool when North and South Korea joined in the recent Olympics. They joined together into one country for the Olympics. It was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they not been previously?
Oh no, they
It
hate
was
each
North
other.
and South.
They hate each
Korea.
other normally. But like in the Olympics, they entered in as one country. And I thought that was really cool.
Sometimes I wonder if we're gonna get into another war with them.
Oh, almost
Oh,
certainly.
there's a war.
I-
There's a war on
We're
the way.
human. Of course there's going to be another war.
There's a whole world war on the way.
Yeah.
I've heard that there were predictions that it would be in like 2024 or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember what the
The
prediction
last
was.
few end of the world predictions have been wrong.
Yeah, like 2012.
Yeah, 2012 was very off.
Like it
I did like that
announced,
movie though.
2019.
Yeah, it's like 7 years ago. Oh yeah, and the world would end in like 2000. Like something great would happen, but no, nothing really happened. But the cool thing about now is that we are advancing technologically more than we ever have. I've said
Yeah.
this before, but
Apparently America wasn't as technologically advanced as the Japanese.
Oh yeah, the Japanese were during this time.
yeah, we didn't
were
have the
far
we didn't-
superior.
They had like what was it?
They had-
Heat-seeking torpedoes.
They had
I
better
think it was
planes,
like sonar
faster shooting
torpedoes, something like
guns.
that.
They had the planes could fly farther. They could fly halfway across the Pacific.
We just had to get lucky with our torpedoes.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one scene with the Japanese guy who's in a plane? He's flying around just this destroyed carrier and he's out of fuel.
Yeah.
He's just flying there. It's like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. But like that scene when the Japanese captain decided to stay on the ship.
That was honorable.
That was.
And that guy decided to stay with him.
I love that scene. Yeah, the guy decided to stay with them. The other guy wanted to stay with them as well, but he's like, no, you can't. You have to keep fighting.
You're too young to die.
Yeah.
The one thing I would have done if I were that guy is I'd say we watched the moon together as equals. Not as I'm higher ranked than you. I would have said as equals.
Yeah. But yeah,
I don't know what
that
you
was
mean.
probably my favorite scene, honestly.
That's
Just
one
because
of
it
my
was
favorite.
it was really good.
I really
Personally?
liked the. You remember the guy who burned his hands on the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite scenes where he pushes the gun back and starts shooting again.
Yeah.
Personally, my favorite scene is the very beginning,
Oh, that's
where
really
Pearl
good.
Harbor is getting
Ooh,
bombed.
yeah.
That's my favorite scene in the
It's-
entire movie.
Okay.
That one was really cool.
It's very, very bad that it happened, but
Yeah.
it's a
No,
very
no,
good
my point.
scene.
No, my point is not that it's like,
It
oh,
makes
I
for a
said-
I
really
love
good scene.
seeing people die. No, that's not my point at all. My
No.
point is, it was really interesting to look at.
It was well made.
Yeah, I just said it was really good, and I'm like, wait, hold
And
on,
the-
people might misunderstand.
The fact that the guy was like,
Fat guy.
even the burned hands and he was still going on the rope and he
Oh,
still
yeah.
held on.
That was the fact that he was the only one that stayed on was
Yeah.
even crazier.
And then that guy who decided to go shoot that gun.
Wasn't that?
It
Oh
wa-
yeah,
it
the
was-
guy
it
that
was
jumped into the plane.
Full of
No.
so much tension. No,
I
at the
think it
very,
really
very
wasn't.
beginning. At the very, very beginning, where
At
he
the very
takes the
beginning,
gun.
The guy's going
Oh,
across
yeah.
the rope, and
And he's on the sinking ship and he's still
I
shooting.
think his name is Roy Pierce. That was the guy that
Oh,
they
yeah.
went to the funeral and they were talking about him in the bar.
Yeah,
That was the same guy,
that's
the
the guy who
colleague.
died honorably.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there was also the guy that refused to tell him where the ships were, even though he was captured, and they were going to throw him overboard.
And they hooked an anchor
Which-
up to him and sent him
It
into
was
the sea.
the Jonas Brother guy. I don't remember which one it is. There's three of them, and they're basically the same person. But
Glee.
yeah, he's a way better actor than a singer, in my opinion.
Then there's that one guy.
Yeah, he's not
who,
meant to be a singer.
Was
Yeah.
Not at all.
from The Hobbit. That
Yeah, the guy. Was it McCluskey? I think that was his character.
I think that was McCluskey.
Yeah, that was his character. Which
The actor also played the guy who shot down Smaug
yeah,
in The Hobbit.
yeah.
At least I'm pretty sure.
I haven't
tell me if
seen
I'm
the
wrong.
last one.
There's also the Codebreaker guy.
I only saw the first two Hobbit movies. I didn't see
The third
third
one's pretty good. Yeah, I've never.
I lost interest because
I haven't rewatched any of the Hobbit movies because they're not rewatchable.
Yeah.
Like the Lord of the Rings.
I can't follow the story at all. I can't follow the story of Star
It
Wars.
is-
I can't follow the story of Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit.
I love the Codebreaker guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy who.
He looked like he was just getting out of bed.
Yeah.
He was like hiding some drugs
yeah.
or something.
And yet apparently
everyone
he was
who's,
the
like, hiding
smartest
something
guy
is-
there.
Just,
It
looks
is
like they
cold
just got
down
out of
here
bed.
in the dungeon. That was great.
And instead of
I don't
being
get why you
musicians,
think
they
he's
go
funny.
to break
He's not
the
that
code.
funny.
The way he's like really dry.
Okay. If you think so.
I can relate.
all right. All right.
Who was your favorite character?
Me.
Both of you.
How about you?
What?
Oh, it's that.
Easily
guy.
the guy with the glasses. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The guy with the,
The
big
guy that
forehead.
looked like he could be a superhero.
Yeah, you kept saying that, and it's like Clark Kent, Superman.
Because he could be.
You know what I want to do? I want to make a war movie inspired movie. Not one that is an actual war, but one that's like a future war or made up war. Just a war inspired war movie.
Like War of the World? Like
no, not like
War
that.
of the Worlds?
No, because War of the Worlds is like, what was that again? It was
That
like
was
the ones with
Martians.
the aliens or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was the Martians attacking Earth.
The tripedal ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. No, not at all. That's not what I'm talking about. No, I'm not I don't think that's war movie inspired. I think it might be. There might be elements of it, like inspired,
definitely.
but I don't think the movie itself was inspired by a war movie. I don't think it was at all. I wonder what it was. It like inspired by a? It might have been inspired by a book for all I know.
Oh yeah, it's a book.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, no, it is a book. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have known that.
Yeah.
And what I mean is, I want to make a movie that is like a war movie, but
A little bit
is
more
not
futuristic.
It's not.
not futuristic, more that isn't based on a real war, but it's convincing enough that it could seem like it was a real war. I don't want to mislead anyone, is my point, but it would be interesting to try that, I guess.
Yeah.
Simulate a war in a movie.
What I want to do is I want to make a war movie based on the other side of the conflict.
Oh yeah.
I bet you there are.
Just watch
other
the Battle
places.
of Midway, but from the Japanese perspective.
Like the opposite.
Because it was
where
kind
it's
of
mostly
it was kind of like
Japanese.
75% American.
Yeah, it was
25%
mostly
Japanese.
American. It was
It-
definitely biased.
it
but
was pretty much the American side.
there were scenes where there were a lot of scenes that showed the Japanese side, but not nearly as much as the Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, but
It's more than other
I'd root for
movies.
the Americans anyway, because
Yeah.
patriotism and
Woo.
root for the whoever again. Root for whoever's the peacemaker.
Yeah, but like, I'd want to make
For
it
example,
at least 50-50.
Martin Luther King.
No, I'd make it. We've got the 75% bias towards the Americans. No, we need
Japanese,
75% bias
like,
towards the Japanese,
Flip flop.
but still shows that the Japanese lost.
Yeah.
So like the Battle of Midway, it shows the American side they won this battle, and it shows clearly that the Japanese lost.
Yeah.
We need a show entirely that's 75% Japanese, focused on the Japanese side. We get more Japanese stuff, like we'll get hints of the American side, like we did with the Japanese, and then instead of like starting a plot that could be possible, like it says in there, we need more intelligence or something like that, and it just never takes it anywhere.
Yeah.
We could instead take that scene and roll with it instead of just leaving it to hang.
I think you lost me.
You think?
Yeah, I think you lost me.
But yeah, that would be a cool concept, honestly.
Yeah.
To do a Japanese
telling it
bias
from
movie.
the opposite side of the conflict. They could do that with a lot of movies. Like they could do Saving Private Ryan, probably.
I haven't seen Saving Private.
Oh, it was-
I haven't seen
Great. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a really good one.
I actually prefer this movie to Infinity War, and I really liked Infinity War.
Yeah.
Then again,
Yeah.
Infinity War is nowhere near my favorite movie.
Personally, I think Infinity War is
I thought Infinity War was better than
my
Endgame.
favorite movie. One of my favorite movies. I can't.
Oh yeah, it was great.
You'd have to give me time to like list off a ton of really
That's what I would have
popular
to do.
movies, just a ton of movies, and then I'll just look at all of them and like, oh yeah, this one's my favorite. Kind of like with like
Yeah.
songs, it's like, oh this one's my favorite, and then you give me another song, and it's like, oh this one's my favorite.
And this one's trashy.
I think Shelter by Porter
Yeah.
Robinson
Oh,
and
I like that
Madeon
song.
Who killed Captain Alex?
is my favorite song.
Killed Captain Alex. Who killed the Captain Alex?
That's my favorite war movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I stopped it. I
I
think
haven't
I
finished
actually ran
that
out of
movie.
time.
I haven't finished that movie. I was gonna watch it with you and Nelson.
You did finish it?
No, I was gonna watch it with you and I think Nelson. I think it was either you or Nelson.
Oh yeah. That would have been great.
But it was with you, Bronson. I know that.
Yeah.
We don't have much time else to talk about the movie.
Yeah, the movie is just kind of there.
What would we rate it?
Oh yeah, we do have to rate it. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say it's a 19 out of 20. 19 out of 20.
That's a good one. I'd go 12.5 out of 13.
Oh, I was gonna say 8 out of 10. It's really good.
It was a really,
No,
especially for recent movies, it was amazing.
no movie has ever had me on edge as this movie did. I legitimately thought that the main character.
Then Saving
main
Private
character-
Ryan's for you too.
Wait,
that
why'd
the
you rate
supposed
it?
main character was going to die.
I know,
like,
right?
It was Dick Best, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Um,
Richard Dick Best.
Richard Dick, air quotes,
Yeah, that's his
Best.
nickname.
his nickname is Dick.
Why'd you rate it 8 out of 10? You rated it lower than we did.
Yeah.
It's the only reason it's not. I didn't rate it a perfect 20 because if it was a 20, it
The
would.
animation would have to be a little better in my
No,
opinion.
I feel like
That was one thing.
that there were a lot of flaws. Like the whole, they left a few Japanese sides just hanging there. They did nothing with, and then there was a lot of other stuff. Like it just kind of jump cutted from place to place.
Jump cut.
There were it just kind of felt just slightly disorganized.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Not too bad. Not too noticeable. Like, you could brush it off. But, yeah, I could agree with that. Just a little bit. But, yeah, I like how they had multiple perspectives from both sides.
Yeah.
I think I would have rated it a perfect 20 if they had a little more of the Japanese side.
Yeah, true.
Just so that I can feel more sympathetic
At least
than I do.
50-50.
Because, I mean, I'm more understanding than I am sympathetic.
I like to go off the logic. I will try and get both sides as much as possible.
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
always do that.
make my decision. I mean, the Americans won, and I can be very patriotic. I don't exactly agree with how we're going with today. I mean, the whole election, Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, I was like, Donald Trump is the lesser of two evils. We need to go with him.
Based on what we know about Hillary
I
Clinton,
hate both of them as
don't
people.
think I trust her.
But, like,
No, not at all.
Donald Trump
I've also heard that
is
Trump
doing great things for the country.
I've also
I
Just
heard
will
needs to
admit.
shut up.
As a person,
wait.
he's horrible.
The economy, I've actually heard in financial literacy that the economy is actually going up, and the reason Roundy thinks that he'll be reelected because the economy is going up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Donald Trump will be elected in the first place. He's pissed off like 75% of America.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt it. It's 75.
I doubt it.
Oh, no,
I think
But
you're
he
talking. I'm
pissed
pretty
off-
sure it's just the vocal minority that
No,
he's
he's
pissing
pissed off half the Republicans.
How
Not
so?
even the Democrats. Like even Romney has started campaigning to impeach Trump.
I don't know who Romney is. I'm
Which
gonna be honest.
Mitt Romney.
I know
He
the
tried to
name,
run
but I
for
don't know who that is.
president.
He went against Obama, and
Obama.
then the only reason he didn't win was because, from what I heard, it was because someone threatened his family, and he just was like, "No, I'm out of here."
Yeah. He's from
he
here.
almost won against Obama.
Yeah.
Um,
It was close.
I wonder what we would get if a woman or a woman became president, not ran. We already had women
think-
ran,
Wow.
but have there
I mean, it would
been
be
have
cool to
there
have a
been
different
women run?
perspective, because
Is
women
Hillary
think
the
different.
first woman to have run for president?
No, there were
No.
a few other women
'Cause
that
I'm
ran
not sure.
against her too. There was a Republican woman who
No, I mean,
didn't
like-
get very
like-
far, but
The first person to get as far as she did.
I'm pretty sure she
the
Yo,
first woman to
definitely.
get as far as she did
Definitely.
in politics.
Wasn't there one thing where, like, I don't know where I heard this. I think it was actually you. That Hillary was saying that if you vote for Donald Trump, you're practically raping yourselves.
I think I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
Hillary.
I've retold that to you. I feel like I've said that to you.
yep, that was Clinton.
Yeah.
You're
And
raping
that,
yourselves.
That pissed me off.
She was not a good person.
She's not a good
Things
Then
she
again,
said
neither
made
is
her
Trump.
really,
Neither was
really
Bill.
dumb.
Trump.
Bill was
Another
terrible.
thing is that personally, the whole trans thing is really complicated, but I personally think that trans, and there's no strong evidence to support this, but to my knowledge, there's not much strong evidence. There are opinions that I've read online about trans people saying that it's not a mental illness, but based on my understanding,
It's
and based on how many of them kill themselves, I don't know how many there are, but
I'm pretty sure it's
based
a
on my
mental
understanding, I think it's a mental illness.
Trans people are like, what, 50% more likely to kill themselves?
thing.
I'm pretty sure it is a mental
super sure.
illness.
I don't know if
Because the reason why
I can't argue for it. I just based on my understanding, I think it is.
for a lot of people, the reason why they switch is because they don't feel right in their body.
Even after they get surgery, they
Why would
they don't feel
changing
satisfied.
the gender satisfy that? Why
Yeah,
would
exactly.
you feel? Why would you not feel trapped still? Because no matter what, if you're in a body and it just doesn't feel right, you're gonna be trapped.
Plus, a lot of them have previously been abused from.
Yeah.
I think my mom wanted me to watch a video on YouTube or something like that about that kind of thing. How like they think it's a mental. Even people who were trans at one point, who had surgery, themselves were saying that it's a problem.
Yeah.
That trans is not normal. I don't think it is necessarily normal to want to be the other gender. I don't think that's a normal thing.
I don't know whether or not
really
I've told
an average thing.
the podcast watchers yet, but I am religious. The listeners.
Anyway.
I am religious, and in my religion we believe that you are what gender you're born as, no matter what. If you change your gender, that's just not
well,
you. Your spirit is the gender you're born as.
I'm curious to know what you guys think about sexual orientation. That's it. Sexual orientation.
We believe it should be a man and a woman.
No. Not what sex you are.
No,
we're talking about
sexual orientation.
Oh, no,
a man
I
should
didn't.
go after
I didn't
a
hear
woman,
you.
and a woman should go after a man. Not like I'm going to chase you down until I have you.
Oh.
Like I'm going to try, and if I don't succeed, then I'll walk away.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna come back to the orientation, but I also think that there are only two genders.
And
there's a reason for it. Because
I mean, if you can find a flaw in the gender system and say you're an Apache attack helicopter, that's stupid.
The reason
they had to accept
the reason I think there are only two genders is because I had reasoning. I lost my train of thought.
Well, actually, because of gene flaws, it's kind of like a spectrum in between male and female. Because like you can get 3 X's. There are people with 2 X and Y.
But that's based on your chromosomes. There are a lot of other things.
So biologically,
it's not all based
it's a
on
spectrum.
It's not all based on your chromosomes, though. It's also like physically.
I know there are people who have both body parts. It's like a spectrum in between.
People also tend to lean more towards one or the other.
It's still.
But
if you're a hermaphrodite,
what's it called? Other than hermaphrodite is the exception.
Hermaphrodite is a transitional gender.
Hermaphrodite is the exception.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a transitional gender if it even is counted as a gender
I don't
at all.
think there are other genders.
You know what's worse than the feeling like you're a different gender or something?
There's another reason.
Thinking you're a different species.
I've seen a comment on YouTube, I can't remember what video it was, where they said it seems that nowadays they're basing gender on personality.
Yes.
And I agree.
It is personality.
It seems like that's what they're doing.
What
they're basing it on
like
personality.
I feel like being
now
a cis penguin.
Here's the thing. I'm not
gender and
I'm not against people who want to identify as that, and people who will what's the word I'm looking for? Who will refer to them as their preferred gender. I don't
I'm not gonna
condemn that.
I'm not gonna stop you from choosing what gender.
Yeah.
This is America.
I'm going to stop you if you're going to try and force it down my throat.
I hate when people do that.
I don't want you to make me call you G or Jim.
Or Ooga Booga.
That would.
I'm not going to call my children a baby. I am not.
A baby?
A baby.
I might call them a baby until we know their gender, though. Yeah. That could be funny.
That's just called a fetus.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, technically, everyone starts
still
out as a female,
technically a baby. They're still technically
nipples.
a baby.
Technically, everyone starts out as a female.
But
I know. That's why we all have nipples.
And then you gain the
if
Y
you don't have
chromosome.
nipples, you're kind of weird.
Yeah.
If you have no nipples, you were probably made in a petri dish.
If you don't have nipples,
you have a problem.
You are the manliest of men.
If you don't have nipples, you probably had surgery.
Yeah.
Is what I mean. Anyway,
the thing is, they have to take the sperm and introduce it to an egg, which the egg will always have an X chromosome. The sperm will be X or Y, and that's what decides what your gender is. It's not your personality, it's your sex.
Uh-huh.
I think you have every right to refer to anyone as whatever you want.
A cis penguin.
And everyone has the right to be upset by that. But there are people who if you disagree...
Force it down your throats.
There are people out there who, if they disagree with you, they will...
Try to force their beliefs onto you.
They'll do more than that. They'll
I hate when people
They will try and shut you down.
They will try and
There's like
destroy
cancel
your life.
culture.
Like fat.
I am strong.
Flat earthers.
I am strongly against cancel culture because I think every single human being, should have the right to say their beliefs. No matter who they are.
It's called free speech, dang it.
But yeah, it's America. You can say what you want. As long as it's not like, I'm going to bomb the school or something like that.
The people who want 30,000 genders and want to be trans want to take away the free speech of the other people.
I've heard trans people talking about how they don't like how the multiple gender thing is representing them, which is like
the what?
What?
Wait, back up. What? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
People who support the multiple gender thing, they're trying to say that it's, I'm trying to think, what was it? That if you don't support the multiple 100 gender thing, then you're dissing on trans, like you're transphobic and stuff. I've heard trans people disagreeing with that. So if people who are a part of that community don't agree with you, I'm pretty sure someone who's not a part of the community, can't speak for them.
Yeah.
Personally, my belief is everyone has freedom, should have freedom.
Yeah, if you want, you can be a cis penguin.
I'm not finished. And that if you infringe on someone else's freedoms, you should have yours infringed on. You should have your freedoms taken away as well.
Like if you bully someone.
If you bully someone, some sort of consequence.
It's basically
there should be some sort of consequence for that.
It's basically like if you
there is, but it's not very good. Is my point.
It's like, hey, Stefan, you're trans. Ha 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 ha.
You have every right to laugh at him.
I am not trans. I am not trans.
He's not trans. None of us are trans. None of us are trans.
Just saying as an example.
And of course, all three of us are male.
Everyone has the right
We were born male and we are male.
Everyone has the right to make fun of someone else. Everyone has the right to be upset.
But if you threaten them,
no.
You're trans. I'm gonna kill you.
A threat.
That is bad.
That is not good.
That's
crossing the line.
That's crossing the line.
Yeah.
A
little bit.
But
that's
you're trans.
not my point.
Oh, well, you're a human being, so I'll treat you normally.
My point is, everyone has the right to make fun of someone else. I'm not saying it's a good thing to make fun of someone else. I think it's really rude.
Oh yeah,
there are points. There are points where if people who have mental illness take insults way too far.
Depending on the illness.
But they will take. There are people who
like ADHD
depression.
Is a mental thing.
ADHD is a mental thing where they won't be able to focus on it.
It is the most scientifically researched mental disorder
Depression?
of any. No, ADHD.
ADHD.
All of them.
Yeah.
ADHD is the single most researched of all disabilities.
I'm pretty sure it's also the most common.
Yeah, exactly. There are people who think it's over diagnosed. I don't agree at all.
I'm pretty sure almost everyone nowadays has it. In some form or another.
ADD is a less severe. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
ADD is.
I wouldn't be spreading more people.
ADD is
that's where you just don't.
ADD is no longer a thing.
Yeah. It's
I'm pretty sure
that deficit disorder
I'm
where
pretty
you just
sure,
can't really focus
I'm pretty
on
sure
things.
I can't
I'm pretty sure
ADHD is where you're hyperactive.
I'm pretty sure they got
It's not hyperactive for me though. I just feel like I'm constantly thinking through clouds.
No.
So I'm constantly fighting to focus.
I'm gonna unbuckle.
And that's about it.
Why are you fat?
No, just so that I can get over here. And lean in more.
I'm not against fat people.
I'm
just calling him
No,
fat.
I'm definitely not against fat people. Both of my parents are pretty fat. I'm getting kind of fat.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be fat when I get older, except for the fact that
So
I'm going to be a cop.
I mean, they're not obese. They're just
Except for the fact
they're
that
on
I'm
the
gonna
fat side, and
They're more heavier built. They're heavier built.
and I'm not going to refrain from calling them fat just because it offends me.
They're family members.
I don't.
They're perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
they call themselves fat, so I'm like, okay, if you're gonna call
if
yourselves
someone calls
fat,
themselves fat, I'm gonna agree with them and say that
that's
they're
like
fat.
okay. Like
Unless
Nelson,
they're
Nelson
not
for
fat.
example. Nelson
Yeah.
for example.
Nelson's great.
He knows
He's
he's
like-
fat.
Self-deprecation. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I am
self-deprecation.
not just
He's a really funny guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Back
About
to what we were
autism,
talking
the thing, I think it's actually kind of cool because my friend's brother.
Oh yeah, because
I had a friend that had a brother that has autism, and he could take a VCR apart completely and put it back together without any instructions. Like they might be like hindered in some areas, but in others, they're like prodigies.
They will excel, and I mean really excel
Yeah.
at like 3 points and then fail the rest of it.
Like people that can learn to play a song on the piano, like a really complex song on the piano, just by hearing it
yeah,
once.
I know that
And
guy.
then they can't.
There are-
Yeah.
I think there are 2 or 3 guys like that.
And he's
that
like
guy
blind too, I think.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's
blind.
blind.
Yeah.
The thing is, even if he can't even name how many notes he's playing.
Exactly. He just
He
zones
just
out
does it,
and
but
plays it.
He
He's
plays
completely
like
blind.
a
He'll
7.
listen to it once, and he'll just play it.
Yeah, like
play the entire
like
thing.
autism. It can be a serious strength in some
But I think he's
areas.
more than just autistic. I'm pretty sure he's a
yeah.
lot more than
The big
just autistic.
problem with autism, though, is the fact that it's 1 to like 3.
Yeah.
When schools will say you need to do 8 to 10, and it's like, okay, these autistic people are struggling. We've got to figure
Even
out some way to
people,
get
even
them
people
around.
with like most disorders.
Most
struggle.
disorders will struggle.
Depression, ADHD.
will lose energy to do anything.
Yeah.
Anxiety will have a panic attack.
Panic
If it's too
attacks for
stressful.
tests. Panic attacks for
ADHD.
huge
They'll
big
just kind of
projects. Panic
not do
attacks
it.
for presentations.
Yeah.
ADHD.
I
They'll
think
just get distracted.
I had a panic attack.
ADHD,
last
they
year.
can't focus.
Yeah, they get
It's
distracted easily.
Very hard for them to focus.
Combinations of them is even worse.
There's Down syndrome too, which
I have
I'm
no
not familiar
proof
with Down syndrome.
that I'm ADHD. I have no proof. The doctors
I was
could
diagnosed.
not tell whether or not I had it.
I was diagnosed
But I think I am.
like twice.
Based on what I've heard, dude, take this with a grain of salt until I get like the whole doctor's note thing.
how long is it?
But as far as I know, without the doctor's note, I am ADHD. This is without the doctor's note again, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I am not trying to self-diagnose.
I
Trust me.
wouldn't be. ADHD is one of the less.
Severe.
It's not severe. It's one of the less obvious ones.
Yeah.
It's a little more hidden. That's why it took so long.
Especially
to
when you're
find
younger,
it.
because
like
like, all
depression,
kids
they
are
found
crazy.
like a long time ago, like back in. I think it was in like. I don't know when.
It was
big
a
thing
long
about
time
it-
ago.
PTSD was like after
PTSD
wars.
was like the-
PTSD was known for a very long time.
PTSD has been known for a long time.
PTSD.
How much
I
they
think it
know
was-
about it.
It was
Autism.
the Vietnam War where it finally became a full-on mental disorder.
Yeah.
Because that's when they realized, oh, this is getting real serious. This is actually a mental disorder. They can't get
Nostalgia
over
actually
this.
used to be considered a mental disorder.
It's-
Same
Well,
with
no, it
depression.
wasn't- okay,
They
no.
only thought it was like
It
a
wasn't
mental illness
named.
recently.
It wasn't named a mental disorder. They just used to think it was like a mental issue, nostalgia. Because like people who like out at war, it's like I really want to go home, because like nostalgia.
There's OCD.
OCD is
It's a mental disorder.
That's a mental disorder.
yeah, I know.
It's a mental
It's
disorder. They have to
literally
turn on and off
obsessive
the
compulsive
They
disorder.
have to turn off and on
Yeah.
the lights like 30 times before they can actually leave.
Or
I think my brother has mild OCD.
it really depends. There's multiple forms. Like sometimes you can notice something slightly out of place, and it's like, oh crap, that's terrible.
I'm not.
Or there's
I don't have
we all
OCD.
have our small
organization.
OCDs.
Yeah.
We all have our small OCDs. It's the people
Obsessive
who get-
compulsive disorders. We all have our obsessive compulsive.
You all have
disorders.
some form of it.
It's the people
no,
who
it's not a disorder. If you're like, it's like, okay, I want a little order.
It's not.
That's
it's not.
that's
really
not that's
considered-
not compulsive. That's not obsessive, and
It's
that's
just-
not a disorder.
It's
Yeah.
not really considered
It's
a
not-
disorder to have.
You can't.
Like, I just
It's
need
like
this
it.
thing to be like standing up straight. Oh, I need
You
it
can
to
have
be
it's
straight.
called
That's
it's
just-
preferences.
when it's
Yeah.
everything that it becomes a disorder.
that's where it's obsessive
Yeah.
compulsive disorder, and,
Yes.
and you can't help it.
can't
Obsessive is
help
where
it.
you want to do it a lot. Compulsive
do
is
it
where you can't stop it.
subconsciously.
You can't.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's just an obsession if you
unless
do
you
it.
have like I don't know if therapy or medication works. I don't know.
I think it might dim it, but there's no way to get rid of it as far as me.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
there's
sure
no
that I'm pretty
cure
sure
for
it.
it.
I don't,
It's
I don't
like
think there's a cure.
Alzheimer's.
Same with,
Alzheimer's
I don't
is
think
another
you can,
one.
I don't think you can cure
Yeah.
HD. I think there are some depressions you can't cure. There's PTSD. I don't think you can cure.
Alzheimer's, we haven't found a cure for
PTSD
either.
you can actually overcome.
You can overcome
because
it.
Can
You
you?
can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. You can get to a point where you can
With enough
bring those
therapy
memories
and stuff?
back to the forefront of your mind and
So it's not
have a sudden panic
because
attack.
like in
But
psychology,
it
like there's
takes
like
a
repression.
really stinking long time, and they have to
And a lot of effort.
It'll take a lot of effort. They will have many panic attacks along the way. It will be. I don't know this. So I don't know much about
What
this.
the-
So don't take it like I'm.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it like I'm factual. God.
Take a lot of things that we say with a grain of salt. Don't, because we're not psychologists. We're not scientists of any form.
It's just opinions.
This is
I'm
a lot of
guesses, things that we know.
this is a lot of just talking.
This is just what we think we know.
Yeah.
Tell us if we get any of this wrong, please.
We're gonna
I
go.
want
There's
to
no.
learn.
We're
Yeah.
probably gonna get a good amount of this wrong.
Oh, yeah.
We probably have a good amount of this wrong.
The only thing that I can say is that I have ADHD. I know a decent amount of ADHD. I haven't researched ADHD very much, but
I could say something, but that's sensitive information, so I won't.
okay. My whole family has ADHD, so.
My brother
makes
has
sense.
serious
I
ADHD.
don't-
Oh, also, like ADHD and autism are kind of similar. They're not the same
Sort
thing.
of.
They're kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's like
Autism is almost an extreme ADHD.
it's
almost.
I wouldn't
It's
say
ki-
extreme ADHD.
Oh, kind of.
ADHD,
Kind of.
you just can't focus. Autism, you can do one to three.
No,
very
what I mean,
few
like,
specific things
ADHD is like hyper
Very
focusing.
well.
very well.
There are other things you can't focus on, and then you can hyper focus on other things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
part.
ADHD has hyper focus.
Autism is not hyper focus. It's I really like these things.
like
I'm going to sit,
you're a
I'm gonna
prodigy
focus
in
on that. Who
some
cares about all
things.
this stuff? I'm gonna focus on this. It's I wouldn't say a choice. It's how they're raised, what they think. I don't know what anime it is, but someone came up with this ego thing, like an ego part of your brain where all the decisions you make are sent through this ego part of your brain.
Ego?
Ego.
EGO?
EGO. Like,
Okay.
it's
I
called
I just wanted to make sure you weren't saying eagle.
eagle.
I heard
yeah.
Eagle too.
It's okay. Take this with a grain of salt. This is from a story.
You like saying that a lot, don't
I
you?
like saying that a lot because I am not factual God.
Nobody really is.
Nobody.
No one is. But I can tell what I think it is, and if
Only
you can
God
come up
is
with a
factual
logic,
God.
well, yeah. And if
Yeah.
you can come up with an argument that'll disprove me, then I'll go to that. But if
Yeah.
you cannot come up with an argument, I'll continue to think of my side until you prove me wrong.
Uh-huh. I need proof.
I
Like flat
love
Earth.
proof. I love proof.
I can't, anyway.
Anyways, every decision you make.
Anyways
is
isn't
sent
the
through
word.
the ego part of your brain.
I don't like interrupting you, but anyways isn't the word, just so you know. Anyway,
I couldn't care.
go.
less.
Continue.
Good, you said could and not could.
Continue.
I hate when people say that.
Shut up. Continue.
No!
I'm sorry, I was rude. Continue.
All decisions are sent through the ego part of the brain. If your ego says, I don't punch this person, but I can punch this person all I want because he
I know
doesn't
what you're
feel pain,
referencing.
that is literally what I do to Bronson. I'll punch him all the
Yeah,
time.
we punch him all the time. He doesn't.
He
care.
just doesn't feel it.
Sometimes
It's
he
really weird.
retaliates. Sometimes he will
Sometimes.
He
retaliate.
retaliates a lot more to me than he does to you. Anyways,
Because he doesn't do it as much.
Oh, I would literally just sit in class and just kind of punch him.
Yeah,
from
you do
time
that
to
with
time.
me too. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't punch you as often.
You still do it.
I still do it from time to time. Usually it's just I'll slide to the side like today. I was just kind of leaning on you so I could watch your computer screen.
You were leaning on me. You were leaning on me.
I don't
We all
remember
lean
that.
on each other, all right.
Yeah.
We all lean on each other.
We have a strange.
It's not gay. It's just
It's
weird.
not gay.
No,
but it's
leaning
just a
isn't gay.
weird-
Leaning isn't
I
any
know.
an orientation.
Depends on how you do it.
No, it's when you. It's like a hip bump is like sexual.
If you lean on
not
someone's
sexual, it's
lap,
flirty.
then it's probably gay.
That is pretty gay.
No, that's if a guy sits
Like
on
a
a guy's
couple.
lap, or a girl
I'm
sits on a
joking.
girl's lap.
I don't.
It's like how
could be
couples do it.
You could be really close friends that don't care that much. For
But
example,
people
me
will
and
generally
Bronson,
think you're
me and
gay.
Bronson do weird things sometimes. We don't
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
sexual,
I
not
would
even
really
joke
remotely
around-
sexual.
I would joke
Stroking.
around and try to sit in friends' laps just to piss them off.
We
Come
understand.
sit on
that's
Santa's
a joke.
laps.
We
specifically.
understand not to touch each other too much, and
Yeah.
100% always avoid.
We
the
just have a
nose.
weird friendship.
It's
It's just weird.
We never ever touch each other's no zones.
No-nos.
I was watching a video where it's like the no box. I can't remember her name.
box.
I remember
On YouTube.
Flat Earth?
A flat Earth theory that uses I think it was the fact that
Flat
aliens
Earthers are
don't
weird.
exist
Oh, yeah.
to prove that flat Earth exists.
Yeah.
I mean,
found
either
out,
way, there's no evidence for aliens.
I found
existing.
out that there's this flat
There
Earth
is
guy.
actually
There's evidence
aliens.
for a possibility, but there's no evidence that there
There
100
have
is
been
aliens.
proven microbes specifically microbes. These
I
are
don't know what those are. Honestly.
basically
Microorganisms,
really small,
bacteria,
Really?
single-celled
There's
organisms.
That counts as life then.
There's
Yeah,
bacteria
that's life.
on Titan. There is legitimate.
Yeah.
That counts as
bacteria.
life.
Yes.
They found
Wait, what?
They found
They have
evidence
found
on Mars.
life on Titan.
Are-
They have
and they're
found-
sure about this.
Yeah.
They are sure about this.
Intelligent
There is-
life, though, that's
there's
way
no
less likely.
intelligent life that we've been able to find. We've been able to find life on other planets.
Yeah,
and even
like
on
Mars,
Titan.
we found evidence.
We found evidence of life. Apparently, we have not been able to find intelligent life, but we've
I
been
wonder
able to
how.
find
I wonder
life.
if that throws a wrench into religion at all. I'm curious.
I don't
No,
know. Creationism,
religion actually
probably?
says that God has created many planets.
Because I don't know.
Infinite amount of
Again,
planets.
I don't know.
Or at least that's our religion.
Yeah.
Bronson and I are of the same religion. Just so you
Is
know.
it? What is it?
Um,
I'm curious.
we're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Do you mind if I say
Horribly long
Mormon?
name.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Mormon
matter.
is just easier to say.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't
Or
want us to call
LDS.
it. He doesn't want us to call it Mormons.
There are a lot of people who don't want us.
It's
other people.
the
to call
prophet
them.
has recently said that we need to include Jesus Christ's name in it. So I've came up with an actual small nickname of my own. I don't know if this is acceptable or not, but the LDS Church of Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That
could work.
I mean, I should probably ask and see if that's okay, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Again.
Church of Jesus. There.
I mean,
Mormons.
technically, the Catholic Church is a Church of Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait, there's the multiple planet thing Mormon or
It's
It's from the Bible.
I'm pretty sure it's Christian.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's just Christians in general.
It's a
Creationism is
my
weird,
parents-
though. Like,
you know,
everything
my
was
parents
created 1,000 years ago or something.
My parents.
1,000 years ago.
Yeah, like humans and dinosaurs lived together. That's apparently a thing.
What I don't believe
There's
in
no
is that
evidence for
humans
that at all.
evolved from monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
Evolution.
Stupid.
I don't have any reason to believe either.
I would not be surprised if evolution actually does exist, like the evolution we think of. Just not
Oh, yeah,
humans.
it does
There
exist.
is
We know
no
that
way-
for a fact.
I don't think that there is
From
any
some
way
species.
that humans evolved from apes, considering the fact that
I believe in
apes-
microevolution. Microevolution, we are 100% sure exists. Macro
Because DNA
is
matches
much harder
all-
to prove.
macro takes place over thousands.
Macro is
of
much
millions
harder
of
to
years.
prove.
Yeah.
Micro, like for example,
I mean, reptiles.
for example, with dogs, we made dogs
We
from wolves.
Yeah.
We took evolution into
bred
our
dogs.
no, but
And
we took evolution
cauliflower.
into our own hands.
Yes, that is proof of evolution.
That is
But-
proof of microevolution.
Same with a bunch
Oh,
of the
that's
food we
macroevolution?
eat.
Microevolution is like very
Short
small.
term.
For example, bears, polar bears, and brown bears and black bears,
And different species of wolves.
pandas maybe,
Subspecies of wolves. Like
and
how some of them
like
are
maybe
white.
horses and zebras.
Koalas are not bears.
They're not bears. They're
They're
marsupials.
They're pretty distant.
Pandas are.
They're like the
bears.
Tasmanian tiger. They're
I
not
think there was
tigers.
also, bear is the only example I can think of. Polar bear, black bear, and brown bear.
There's the different breeds of dogs.
Panda
I mean,
bears.
that's when we took it into our own hands.
Yeah.
Panda bears are technically a type of bear.
There's also the different subspecies
They are
of
a type of
wolves
bear.
too.
I wouldn't know,
There's the different subspecies
know.
of wolves, like
but there
Like
there are not, there aren't
Arctic.
nearly as many as there are breeds of dogs. Not even close.
yeah, I know. Because we've helped along with the dogs. There's also like cauliflower and stuff.
Chihuahua,
Cauliflower, cabbage,
German
there's-
Shepherd.
Yeah, there's cauliflower,
Golden
cabbage,
Retriever.
kale, broccoli. They're all the same species.
We've bred a lot of things.
Wheat.
We like
it's a combination of like 3 different
People
species.
were, I think, wasn't there like a thing where it's like, oh, we're taking biology into our own hands. We're playing the role of God. I think it was when we got like.
I don't think that.
I think it was when we got the mammoth. It's like if we revive the mammoth, we're playing the role of God.
I think that's
I mean,
taking
we're
it a little too far. Creating an artificial soul is taking it too far, because
I don't know if that counts as artificial soul.
I mean,
I think it more counts as artificial, not necessarily artificial. Artificially
synthetic because man-made.
No, we didn't make the mammoth though. Is my point.
No.
if we
The
make
point
a new
reviving
mammoth,
it was man grown, artificially raised.
Like modern cows.
I think it's reborn. It's like they were supposed to die, but they didn't necessarily.
So it's getting them out of extinction.
But
I mean,
yes and no.
if we
They are
try-
extinct, yeah. But
If we try to make an artificial soul on any level, because animals do have souls, and there is physical proof of this. Yes, there is proof. The soul weighs about 20 pounds. I think. I could be
wait,
wrong.
what?
Yeah.
There is scientific proof that the soul exists.
Soul?
The soul has a weight. They weighed someone before death, and then after death.
How
There was an
long after
instant,
death?
Like right after. They're like, this man's about to die, so we'll just watch him until he dies. But until then, he weighs about this much. And then they took it after death, and there was like an almost.
Was it one person though?
instantaneous
Because
lot. I'm pretty sure that they.
if it was a number of people, then
I'm pretty sure they did this over a number of people.
I wonder
But
how many.
I don't know. I haven't really studied into it, but all I know is that there is scientific
It sounds
evidence
interesting.
that the soul exists,
Okay.
and it weighs about 20 pounds. That is a weird detail to know. I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I heard about that.
Anyways.
I'm curious to know if it is possible though, to bring back mammoths.
I mean,
I
we've
am
already
curious.
brought back a couple extinct species.
Like what?
I'm trying to think. There's this species of...
Was it recently extinct?
It was recently, fairly
No.
recent, like a couple thousand years ago. We brought back
not
a
that
32,000-year-old plant from Russia.
That's not very
And then again,
recent.
plants don't have the same kind of soul. Wow, voice crack.
So,
Plants don't have the same kind of
Yeah.
soul. They are more trees.
and also that was revived
plants.
differently too. They brought back an old seed that was preserved. They
seeds
just-
and plants are more like what we would be
That
without
doesn't
a soul.
count. That doesn't count.
The
Yeah, I
soul.
know. But I think it's cool that they did that.
I mean, they bred.
I feel like the soul's more of the decision maker. The body is just like a tool, more or less, and the soul actually gives it life, gives it
Oh,
decision.
I'm curious to look into this. I've heard about.
I like how it suddenly got really quiet.
yeah.
Yeah, because these guys in front of us, they turned on their lights,
Yeah,
and it's really bright.
we're in a parking lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're not going to tell you where.
There's
No.
some species of like antelope or something. I don't remember what it
Although
was
I will
called.
tell you what state it is. It's
But-
in New York.
It was extinct for a little while.
We're in Canada, guys. We're
The
in
one
Toronto,
thing,
Canada.
the one thing we will tell you about where we are is we're in
The USA.
The U.S.
The
Yeah.
U.S. of A.
Wow, my
US of
internet
A.
sucks.
I remember using that in an essay.
The U.S.
Remember
of
that,
A.
Bronson?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know why I decided to do that. I think I just wanted to. You know what? Let's make me sound fancy. I made myself sound like an idiot.
The U.S. of A.
The U.S. of
Ugh,
A.
after that, the U.S. of A makes people sound
Dumb.
dumber to me.
Yeah.
There are people outside too, by the way.
Yep.
If you hear anyone outside, just
Do we
just
want
say
to
no.
just kind of drive around for a little bit?
Should we? I don't know.
I think it'd be interesting.
I guess.
Why don't we? Let's just go for a small joyride in Bronson's car with his consent.
All right,
Yes, Bronson's
Let me
driving.
grab my phone first. Let me grab my phone before we start going.
I mean, we need to continue the podcast.
Yeah,
But
we're
we
still
don't
going to
have to do
continue
a
the
little
podcast
lights.
until it starts dying off the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, the conversation smallly died off a little bit.
Smalley.
I mean, with that, no, just that
That
little
is the
section
term.
of it mainly.
Um,
Let's go back to the
I
gender
like how we
thing.
went from
There's.
Yeah, that's how
word
conversations work.
to No,
Wait,
I just
there's
kind of
also,
find it funny how it goes.
You know how flat earthers never try to prove their
That
Their
the
beliefs.
Earth
Their
is
beliefs?
flat. They would
I
try to
found a
disprove
guy
that
that's
the Earth is
actually
round.
doing that.
He's
There's this
actually
guy
proving
who
it's not.
actually is trying to build a rocket to send himself 60-something miles into space.
Wasn't there like a Netflix movie where they like?
I think so. His name is Mike Hughes.
Well-
He already made a rocket successfully and went up a couple thousand feet.
Is that
So,
enough to
like,
see it though? Is the question?
No, not yet. He's trying to get 62 miles with the assist from like a large weather balloon or something. Because
Aren't there like 2 countries that use the customary system?
Customary system?
the
It's like the
imperial
miles
system.
Imperial. I've always
Yeah,
heard
it's
it
like
as the
us.
customary.
There's 3. Well, 2.5
And-
kind of. There's us. I think Libya. I think that an African country, and
I
then
wonder if Hawaii and Alaska even use it.
and then there's
I know mainland USA
There's some
does.
Southeast Asian country that uses a mix of their own, the metric system, and the imperial system, which is why I said
doing
2.5.
laps around the parking lot.
I don't know, because why not?
We should just go out onto the streets and ride.
Sure.
Just wherever, I guess.
So, I think that's weird.
We're just sitting here wasting
Like,
gas anyway.
I like how that flat earther's actually trying to prove his point instead of just saying, "Oh, gravity doesn't exist."
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Like-
this doesn't fit with my ideas. Oh, it doesn't exist.
But I like how he's actually trying to prove it.
If you try to prove
Earth
it,
would have to be going really, really, really fast in order for gravity, in order for the
Oh yeah.
and even then
something like
the
gravity to exist on
the
Earth.
gravity of a flat Earth would be so wonky.
Yeah.
Because the further out you get,
The more gravity
heavier
is going
the
to
gravity.
pull you to the center,
the more you have to lean forward to even walk.
which is why a bunch of flat earthers say that gravity doesn't exist because it doesn't fit. It doesn't
I've also seen
conform with their beliefs.
I've also seen flat earthers say that you know how they have the ice caps go all the way around,
Yeah.
and then they say that
wall.
they must be hiding more continents beyond it, and it's like
What
Yep.
wall?
you're bonkers.
There's the whistle again.
the ice wall,
I'm gonna slow down.
Oh,
the
ice wall.
There's the big
like
polar
Antarctica
ice wall
and all that around
we're
us.
talking about. You want proof that doesn't exist? Go around the world.
It's not true.
Wait, do
You'll see that it
do,
repeats.
do
It's
plane
like-
flyers have to every now and then drop their plane a little bit to stay?
Yeah, they
in
do.
the
They
air?
say
Yeah.
that it's like, they always have to correct it so that it goes down.
They-
And it's like, they always are correcting.
The
Aren't they?
gravity pulls towards the center, so they don't
But
really
then
have
ag-
to
no, no, no,
correct
no,
all
my-
If
that
you've got a
much.
car behind you, you should go speed limit. Even if there is the whistling. You already heard about the whistling. Don't complain about it. We
I
have
mean,
no idea what's
I'm
going on.
already going faster, and I'm 5 miles under, so I think that's fine. But like,
I don't think there are people higher up hiding things from us.
I don't think that people.
the government
That just doesn't make any sense.
denies everything.
That,
I mean,
that's
the
just
government actually does hide stuff. It's called
It does.
sensitive
no,
information.
no. But I mean,
Yeah,
like
like-
hiding that much information, like
I
an
don't think they
entire
hide
entire continents,
that important of information.
That's
They
insane.
don't hide that stuff.
and I think impossible too.
They might hide stuff like sensitive information, like battle plans or something like that.
Yeah, they
Also-
did the.
They can't have too many people knowing that because otherwise they'll get spilled.
Another thing that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense is you know how they have the map in like a lot of schools, how it's like they have the north at the
The
top and the south
Manhattan
at the
Project
bottom.
was hidden for years.
Like the north at
the
north at the top and the
nukes.
south at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
That and then all they do is like they take that map and they just add polar ice caps all the way around.
Yeah.
Not polar ice caps, just ice caps.
I-
They add it all the way around. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. How would Japan have attacked us in Hawaii?
Exactly.
They'd have to go
There are-
so far.
There are so many inconsistencies with.
Yeah.
It's
How
just
do they attack us
it's
from the
just
Pacific
that
Ocean?
map.
It's 35, Bronson.
It's just that
Wow.
map that really bothers me. That I'm like, you believe this map? Are you kidding me?
They would have had to.
At least say that the North Pole is in the center,
Uh-huh.
and then it goes around the North Pole. That makes sense.
A little bit more.
It makes more sense
The
than
South Pole does not touch the North Pole.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Instead of trying to say that it's flat so much that the North Pole and the South Pole are on opposite sides of this like disc thing. It should be like you open it up from the South Pole, kind of like that. It's just
Like-
so inconsistent.
Yeah. And then the sun, how do you explain day-night cycles being different on different sides of the world?
Well,
Apparently
the
it's-
sun isn't the sun; it's more of a flashlight.
Yeah, it just points
I've
down.
heard flat earthers saying that it's not like that and it's complicated. What is happening here? It wasn't like this yesterday.
Oh boy, oh no.
But yeah, flat earthers, they're weird. Like if you say something that contradicts what they believe, they're just gonna say it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though there's quite a bit of evidence for gravity,
Yep.
there's a lot.
And did you know that there's this like equation, this like physics equation that proves that wormholes exist?
What the?
Yeah.
Have
Well,
you,
it's still
Yeah.
theoretical. It's still
It's a theory.
Einstein's relativity. It's just a different answer to the same equation.
I don't even think it was Einstein's.
Oh.
equation.
No, it was Einstein.
Remember
it was
the theory that I
same
told
one
you
as the
about-
black hole.
about
There's
mass?
just
Yeah,
different-
the black
there's
hole
just
and the
different,
wormhole.
My theory about
solutions to
mass.
the same equation.
Do you remember my theory about like mass and like way?
Oh yeah.
I don't.
I-
Actually.
How he said
This will
mass
only
makes
make
you-
sense.
Makes it.
It would only make sense if I had a graph, but I can't. That graph won't translate very well at all.
Try and give a.
I'm gonna try and give an explanation, and if it doesn't make sense, I can always send you a graph or something like that. This has no evidence to support it, but it is just an idea I had that's like, oh, what if this is true? It'd be very interesting. But
Yeah.
what if, after a certain distance of mass being
Wow.
apart,
Been out for 4 hours.
that mass starts to repel itself instead of
More than
attract
that.
itself to other mass?
6 hours. 5 hours.
What do you think, Steven?
Sorry, I was listening to Bronson. Please repeat yourself.
So my theory is, not a theory, the idea I had. What if after a certain distance, instead of mass attracting to each other, it starts to repel? It starts to go like dip under into the negative.
What?
Does that make any sense? That's
Like
No.
negative mass?
because like you know how it's exponentially pushing each other away.
I mean, in order for wormholes to exist, you have to assume that matter will inexplicably
guy has his
pop
hydrogens
into
on.
existence with a positive and a negative mass particle will pop into existence
Seriously.
at the same time, and then in that very instant they will recombine and instantly destroy each other.
I love how we went from Midway to.
That's how conversations
The
work,
wormholes.
Bronson. Come on.
But just because it's a conversation doesn't mean we can't find it funny.
It's just how it
Fun.
works.
Yeah.
But okay.
I mean, I think it's funny how it went from from World War II to genders to
Space
mental
stuff.
disorders.
To space.
I think it was more like it
Space,
went to mental disorders
matter.
than to genders than back to
No.
mental
No, it was
To
genders
gender,
then social disorders.
then
'Cause we were talking about
mental
gender,
disorder.
and then he brought up
Trans,
how it might be
mental
Oh,
disorders.
yeah.
disorder that
And then we
causes
went
it.
deeper into the mental disorder thing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I've never been on this.
we are
I know,
gonna
it's
wrap
new.
up this episode for all of you. And
Cool down there.
again, we have yet to figure out how to wrap this up
Oh
properly.
yeah, we're still terrible because
So, we didn't
Okay.
rate. We didn't give Midway a rewatchability. I would say 3, maybe 4.
Out of what?
no, just
Out
like
of
how many
nothing,
times
just
would you rewatch it?
rewatchability. It's more
I
qualitative
could just
than
rewatch it
quantitative.
whenever I wanted.
That's not
No,
how many times?
How many times would you recommend rewatching it?
How many times would you personally want rewatch it?
I've got this strange issue where if I can't rewatch anything without like getting bored really easily. I tried to rewatch Infinity War.
I mean,
I
look
got
at me.
bored halfway through.
How about you, Bronson?
Mine's at least twice because I've already watched it twice.
I could probably
Okay.
rewatch it.
Would
you
watch it
Rewatch
again?
Midway.
Oh yeah. So
So
maybe
3 times.
At least 3 times.
No.
I would.
But then again, that would be
probably
rewatching it twice.
Yeah, that's rewatching it twice. I'd say
Okay.
at least twice.
I'd say rewatchability 2 or 3 times.
I could probably
Maybe 4.
probably rewatch it, but that'd be with people. Then that'd be to see their reaction. That is how I rewatch
Yeah.
stuff. But if I were to just rewatch it on my own, I couldn't do it because I just can't rewatch movies.
I went through a phase.
I can't reread books. It
Anyway.
pisses me off.
I went through a phase
Wait.
where I'd rewatch.
Let me wrap up. Come on.
Crudes, like a million times.
You know what? Farewell, you guys.
Bye.
I'm still taking.
We're still driving my car.